considering this, let's take, for example, Valentine now, right? People have booked their trips. They're very excited to go, but everybody's planning those events around the same time, which also means that there's a lot of questions coming at the same days, and people are always worried that maybe their trip is wrong or they want to change something. And your staff is the same capacity, right? You can't always upstaff your team, and at that moment, you may get overwhelmed people on your support desk.
Totally.
One of the other issues that companies might face is, let's say, once you have some backlog, right? People start emailing for the second time or the third time, or they start calling you, and then the volume actually quadruples, and then it's almost impossible to get out of for your support agents. And some of them then might feel overwhelmed and get burnt out, which means you have to deal with less capacity and even more volume. So that's let's say something in peak seasons, whether that's for travel, commerce, or whatever, that can be a really, really big problem.
Yeah, can you imagine that you just have all these incoming calls at one place and then as well the emails at one place? And especially if they are going to email and then call afterwards, that it can create a mess if you don't streamline it pretty well, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I can start on that question. I think just the problem what I just sketched already is, can you imagine you face all these incoming questions on certain different channels? I think it starts with streamlining that through one tool basically, and that is Trengo, where you can facilitate and manage all these questions, arrival questions, on a proper way. And not even mentioning that you as well can proactive outreach before, for example, hey, you're arriving tomorrow within your booking at that place, before they are going to reach out about, hey, when is my pickup, or when, which hotel, or whatever. And I think you can combine it with a multi-channel inbox and then covering that proactive outreach, so you have less increase in terms of the support questions that are arriving daily.
And I think it's a very good point that you're making, right?
Yeah.
It's not just solving the problem as it occurs, but it's actually preventing some of that problem upstream, so that downstream you don't suffer with the peak in demand.
Yeah. And then we're not even mentioning that you can use automations in order to keep the personal touch, but can automate FAQs, for example, or just facilitate and follow up with some information before you hand it over to your team, towards your team, where you can unload a big piece of that work, especially during these peak moments.
Yeah, and I understand that Trengo actually has the opportunity, right?
Yeah, totally.
To see already information from the...
Yes, definitely. Yeah. If you make the connection right with your system, you can see when a question arrives, you can see all the booking history from the customer. So can you imagine that you don't need to ask what is your booking number? No, it will be identified and shown based on just the email or just a phone number that arrives in the system. So it removes a lot of additional questions that you normally need to ask in order to identify who's reaching out to you.
Yeah, great. And some people might worry that these tools make interactions feel less personal. I think that is obviously a concern, but I think it's very much also to do with how people remember what chatbots were like.
Exactly.
Because they were just putting you in a loop that you never got out of. They gave you a menu of suggestions that none of them
dumb
covered.
technique basically, right?
Yeah. None of them covered what you wanted to say. And I think in the end, it's not just about personal, although the AI chatbots and agents are becoming so good that you can, decide on their tone of voice or the actual voice, right? If we're talking about voice AI.
Yeah, totally.
But I think customers just want to be helped with their problem in the most efficient way. And whether that is done through an automated bot or a real person, in many cases, doesn't matter that much.
100%. And I think the whole negative sentiment lies on the old chatbots, indeed, as we know it today. But I think now these days you have AI agents, which are a new way of servicing your customers on a very personal way through real authentic voice or even real authentic messages back during any moment of the day. Could be during night, could be during the early morning when they are going to leave to go to the airport, for example. I think that's really delighting if you can just send in a message on the moment you're leaving your house, for example, to go on the trip, and you just receive right away an answer on the spot. And then, yes, it can be AI, but if the AI is that good that it can deliver a good question on the spot, it's really delighting your customers.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what we're servicing within the travel organization branch.
And I think by nature, right, travel is in different time zones, and it happens 24 hours of the day. It's not in business hours alone, and therefore, let's say these automation layers and your first line, let's say chatbots that maybe can solve everything, 100%. Is actually a benefit over human versus not. So we also, I mean, we've had some fun, right, with trying to do the tone of voice, etc. And we say, okay, now talk like you're from, let's say, a fantasy land, or talk like a pirate, and the bot will happily oblige. Or so you can bring a lot of human elements into it, I think.
100%, yeah. Definitely. And just one more example, because I really love this example in here. Can you imagine that you're reaching out during the early morning when you're leaving, and you want to know, okay, but how late will the bus arrive when I need to get a pickup towards my hotel, for example? And how about if that system then will be connected, what we do with AI agentic technique, that it connects with the system, it grabs the information of the customer at that moment and delivers that tailor-made information for only that specific customer on an automated way back. That feels natural.
Yeah, and that will take away a lot of the anxiety, particularly for the ones,
because you have it's a tailor-made answer. A very complex answer, actually. Yeah, 100%.
How can Trengo then help travel businesses deliver standout experience, and in campaigns like that? So. That's not just like there is already something booked, but you can also actually use Trengo to promote some of the things that you might have.
100%, yeah. We call it customer re-engagement, because if you have already a big base of your customer, you can leverage the data in order to extend a bit the customer journey from their side. And what you can do during especially peak seasons, just like Valentine's Day, you can just promote, for example, send out a discount through WhatsApp. And that is a unique way of reaching your customers, because lately email is not opened that pretty much anymore. Open rates are dropping below 30% now these days. And WhatsApp has more than an open rate of 95%.
Yeah.
So can you imagine what WhatsApp can do for your business if you leverage that on the correct way, that it provides value for your customer base.
Yeah, and I think also the younger generation at this point in time, I think email for them is like snail mail, right? They don't even open it at all. They don't even open their inbox. So a conversation is a chat, whether that happens in WhatsApp or chat or.
They don't want to email. They don't want to call.
No.
They just want to text all the time.
And they want to be helped there. And then maybe it sounds like automation or whatever, but still it's nice that your partner actually books a romantic weekend away for Valentine, even though it was a WhatsApp.
Beneficial for everyone, I would say. Yeah. Totally. No, and we can help the travel industry with creating these messages, thinking along the way how to implement this right. It doesn't need to be very technical.
Yeah.
And we can help them to tailor-make these messages so it drives impact within the business, more revenue, and it will help the customer to take advantage of these deals that you're sending out.
And I think a lot of people think about AI agents or bots as something, there's a question and then there's an answer, right? Or it's about support and very reactive. But actually the whole journey, you're starting to investigate that maybe you want to book a trip. That's where it can come in, customer interaction, because you're trying to explore and find out, right? Yeah. And from a company point of view, you can then identify who are interested, right? It's you're qualifying actually your leads who are going to be interested.
Totally.
Then during your stay, you may have booked a tour, or you may want something in your room, or like anything.
Digital concierge. for
Digital
example,
concierge.
or travel agency expert, 24/7 available.
Exactly. And then post-trip, then
Yeah.
you can either also engage on the customer satisfaction to understand was this stay pleasant, or
Totally.
re-engage with them,
Yeah.
or even proactively say, hey, actually this happened to me this morning. I left my laptop at the hotel.
Yeah.
And immediately someone reaches out to
Exactly.
you, right?
Yeah, you can do so much with automation and to make that really personal. And as well, if you have, for example, you as a customer traveling, you experience something badly on the holiday, something on the insurance side, or something that's just a negative experience.
Yeah.
Then they will reach out to you. And you can better be proactive on that side. And this is exactly what you can route and triage on the background. Yeah. So it will not go towards the AI, for example, because on that moment, they want to speak with somebody, a real person. Instead of engaging with AI, we provide these moments that they can make these routings very easily.
Yeah. And maybe the first thing that can be automated is like, what is even the cancellation policy?
Yeah,
so that
totally.
you know, can I still get out of this, and what are the terms? And if you need to know more about your specific situation, you can always be forwarded on to an agent if you need more research
100%,
work.
Totally. But that's a great thing of the system, right? It can be tailor-made, and we have some presets defined. But it can be tailor-made based on the business, how they are working internally, how their ideal customer journey looks like, and we can think along with them on that way.
Yeah. And the other part is indeed, I like your train of thought, like if something happens unexpectedly or different from how it would happen, the flight got cancelled, is my chauffeur still there to pick me up because I'm going on a tour, or I'm a day late now for my tour, what happens? And already proactively inform people, we've got it taken care of, and we've got you sorted.
100%. And I just saw lately an example on LinkedIn coming by that WhatsApp was being used to enrich the customer journey, just like we're explaining about, right? And that post went viral just by sending, hey, you're going to check in tomorrow. I'm your digital concierge. If you have questions, just let me know. And this is your information. And it was going viral because we see that not everybody is creating this customer journey as we think it should be.
Yeah. Very good point.
We have experts here internally. So besides the tooling that we offer, of course, to manage that and delight them on the way, we have as well our experts that think along internally. But in terms of tooling, we can provide you the right metrics. We can provide you the right templates in order to decrease the load during these high seasons. So the system can work for you instead of that it's working without you.
Yeah.
Basically.
And Trengo now obviously supports something fully automated, but also supports kind of a side help for an agent who can just click on things and say, okay, can you give me a suggestion, or more like an internal question place that they can verify that what they think is, for example,
for the agents working internally, of course, they are sitting there. They are taking care of all these incoming questions. There are tons of ways that our system is providing there a lot of value in order to automate a lot or become more efficient, so they can have more time in order to engage with the real difficult things that are arriving. But indeed, just like to make an example of that, indeed these answers that can be generated with a push on the button that creates an answer back in the right language even. But think about as well, if you just need a colleague and they are engaging in different language, you can just click on the button and it's translated all these messages so you can catch up or just generate an AI summary. So there are multiple ways how efficiency can be gained during these high peak seasons.
And that's what we see also in the teams, right? If I don't know how to solve the question, there's probably a colleague that does. And if I forward it on, rather than have them having to go with the entire customer thread, they can just read the summary and understand, okay, this is where I come in and what you need from me. And the other side, I think that's very important, is for managers, it's so much easier to really start understanding what is going on, right? If there's suddenly peak volume, you want to understand what is it about. And the system labels the content of these discussions automatically. So you can immediately see, oh, they're all asking about this. Clearly something on my website is going wrong, or there's another thing that I need to fix, not necessarily in the responses, but also what is happening then upstream that's causing this. And those insights are super helpful for managers.
Totally. And it all starts with these insights, right? Because you can't automate that much on an autonomous way if you don't know where to start. So very valid point. And yes, we have certain ways in order to make this very easily implemented within these businesses.
And I think that's a good point, right? Because I can understand you're running a business, you're very much focused on, you know, making your customers happy and making sure that they end up in the right place or they book the right trip, or you've actually understood what their requirements are on their hotel or whatsoever. But this is not difficult, and it may sound very daunting for people who are not constantly sitting in their computers or maybe programmers or whatsoever. But we can actually set it up in a matter of time, right?
Yeah, we just need an hour, and it's being set it up.
Yeah,
you can connect your WhatsApp channel within minutes, and then we can do the automation on top of that. We have these predefined templates, but we can provide you help with it as well. Yeah. But the system speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I think that's very important. And so everybody can master the tooling and become a professional within their business. So
very cool.
We see especially the efficiency gain that businesses are gaining with the tool like Trengo. But think about faster response time, reducing the workload, and having fewer errors because the AI can type it out for you without increasing the bar of professionality within the business.
What I also find important in this context is that if you understand where your volume comes from and the part that you want to automate, then your people are actually also freed up to do actual sales, right? So you rather have them spend time with the person that is looking to buy an amazing diving trip in Mexico over someone who's trying to say, I lost my umbrella, right? Yeah. So, and the I lost my umbrella can maybe go somewhere completely different and not end up with the person. And this person can then do revenue driving stuff.
Definitely. No, that's a very valid point. And our goal is to automate 90% of all these repeating tasks that are coming in, repeating questions. And that doesn't go overnight, but we see already successes within the business we serve today that even 65% of all the FAQs can be automated.
Yeah.
So can you imagine what that will do with the team? That they free them up and they can spend more time in terms of the sales inquiries that are arriving, indeed, to sell additional services.
Yeah.
Or to just engage better because before they were potentially running in terms of all the volume coming in, trying to keep up.
Yeah.
But now they are mastering the moment of the heat. And then they can better engage with results towards a better retention. Yeah. They will book next time as well if they have received a good service of the business.
Yeah. And I think so if you set up Trengo, you get these insights, you understand where your volume sits, you understand which part you can easily automate, and then where you want your people to spend the time. So that is a win on both the cost level and the efficiency, but also an accelerator on your income.
100%. And sometimes it still feels a bit scary. Are you going to implement AI? But you can do that very on a controlled way. And you can decide on which specific situations you put an AI behind that is going to engage on an automated way. Yeah. You have full control in that. Yeah. So it isn't scary anymore and ungrabbable. You actually see what happens and you have full control of how to set it up.
And maybe another point to talk to is that people then are scared, like, what is this bot telling my customers, right?
Yeah.
But the way we set up our knowledge bases is actually a very smart way to control that.
Totally, because it's very easy. You can just upload your internal documents about the policies, for example, or just you provide context about the business. But what you can do as well, you can just sync your website with information that knows about every trip on your website that you're offering, or every hotel, for example, room that you're going to offer. So it can be providing the right information on the spot at any moment.
Yeah, and then syncing your website sounds complicated. How
Yeah,
does that work in
that
practice?
isn't. You just provide a URL, you fill it in, you press enter, and in that moment your AI has mastered the information and is searching real time on your website basically on the background, which is pretty cool, right?
That's crazy easy,
I
right?
know,
Again,
right? Yeah, it's not hard at all. Just a click on the button, and that's it.
Yeah, can you imagine how much time people can save there?
It's 100%. And this is just a beginning, right? Because that's the FAQs being answered, which is a bigger piece of the incoming questions. But if you want to take it towards the next step, you can even integrate it with your systems, that it can do cancellations, that it could make modifications of bookings, or even book a room.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that you really get to towards 90% in order to automate it more and more over time?
Yeah, because I let's say from the customers obviously that we serve, we know that in any type of consumer services and travel, definitely the changes to the one is the booking itself, but the changings to the bookings, they happen so often. Oh no, we want to change the date. Oh no, we're actually 5 people. Oh no, for this part we're 4 people, but we want adjacent rooms. And there's so many criteria that keep changing along the way. And I think having it connected to your system that can alleviate all of it.
And in terms of Valentine, last minute you decide that you want to have a bottle of champagne on your room.
Yeah.
Then you want to make that modification or the change towards your existing booking.
Yeah.
And this is what can be automated as well.
And the reverse of that.
And the reverse
is a great upsell opportunity
100%.
to say, hey, listen, now that you've booked your Valentine's trip, we do an amazing 4-course dinner that evening, or we can, decorate your bathroom with rose petals.
By sending out a WhatsApp message, for example, when they're arrived already.
Yeah.
In order to get more, increase your revenue towards these upselling techniques, which are very handful for the customer when they receive that during the visit or after checkout.
So where will you be for Valentine?
Oh, very good question. I will be at home because I'm getting my first child.
Yeah, and I'm waiting to be surprised, and hopefully my husband subscribes to some of these WhatsApp channels so that he can actually book something nice.
Totally.
Yeah.